Oh, welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. Happy Monday from everyone here at Prime Sports World. I hope you all had a very good weekend as we are going to be breaking down week number 2 of the XFL. We're going to give out a game ball, and then we're going to week number 3 make our predictions for week number 3 in the XFL. Please like, share, and subscribe. We basically go live every single day, bringing you guys the most up-to-date content. I will also share the StreamYard link into the chat, so if you want to join us and talk a little XFL action, more than welcome to do that as well. Of course, I'm David Huffman right there. I'm the host. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Welcome into the show, TJ. I've also shared the link to all of our streaming platforms. So if you do happen to miss us live, you can catch us on a bunch of places over there. I will share the link to that in here in a few minutes. But happy Monday, TJ. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
How was the weekend?
It was decent. Just chilled, relaxed, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I had a pretty good weekend. I went back home, saw some friends for their birthdays and stuff, so that was nice. I went to the gym today, man. I had a really good hoop session at the gym just like a few minutes ago. It was a good time.
Nice.
I think I burnt off. I did burnt off like 3,000 calories or something, dude. Like, it was crazy. So I'm very happy about that. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the XFL. What did you think about the XFL this week? And then we'll get into each individual game.
More the same as the first week. You had one. I think you had like 2 or 3 competitive games. The Seattle Sea Dragons and the St. Louis Battlehawks. That was a close one. That was a 20-18 game, and they think St. Louis won that.
Yeah, that was the game where they came back from behind, won that game.
St. Louis won that one on a walk-off.
The Houston game was semi-close.
It was
at least until halftime.
Yeah, it was closer than a lot of people thought it would be.
Me, myself included, especially after the battle, especially if the Roughnecks basically just marched down the football field and scored a touchdown immediately. I kind of thought that would be
right because of the extra point rules. If Arlington scores on their last drive, you get a 3-point conversion to.
I mean, that game was right there. I mean, the game's right there. I did think that the quarterback play was a little bit lackluster this week, but I think that's just going to come with growing pains as you continue to learn, each offensive system, because these guys have only really been on their teams for a couple months now. It's hard to really master that offensive system. But yeah, I thought the quarterback play particularly was a little bit not as good this week as opposed to last week. But let's talk about each individual game. Let's first talk about the one we referenced here at the beginning of the show with the Battlehawks coming back and beating the Sea Dragons 20-18 in that game. A.J. McCarron, 22 of 36, 184 yards and a touchdown. Ben DiNucci, 19 completions for 29 attempts, 196 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns. A.J. McCarron led the team in rushing. Morgan Ellison led the team in rushing for the Sea Dragons. And, on the St. Louis, Hakeem Butler had a receiving touchdown. He also led the team in receiving yards. And on the Seahawks, Sea Dragon side, Parker Person scored the receiving touchdown along with Jordan Vesey. I'm still getting used to these names. Josh Gordon had a nice game, 1 catch for 33 yards.
That's not a nice game.
I mean, but it's still, he's still productive. But yeah, the St. Louis was able to kick the game-winning field goal as they go up 20-18. Thoughts?
First, on the Seattle side, you got to find a way to get Josh Gordon the ball a lot more.
More than just once?
Or at least one catch.
He was targeted twice. He only caught one of them.
Yeah. Come on, come on now, make it make sense.
Also, ESPN, like, you really, if you're gonna be like behind this league, like, you really need to do a better job of the XFL page on ESPN. Like, they don't even have box scores. Like, I have to go to external. I have to go to another website in order to check the box scores. Like, it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. But that's a story for another day. But it is. Like, Seattle, you got to do. You have a.
I'm on the football database. I'm on the football database, getting the box score for these games, and a game that's sponsored by ESPN, and they couldn't put the box score of the games on it. Like, come on.
Yeah, you got to do a better job of getting that together. And Seattle, you have to do a better job of getting the ball in your playmakers' hands. All right, this is the second game you've had a lead, or it might be the second time that St. Louis has been down.
The Vipers, I think they were up in that first game in week one, and then they let that game slip away. So
Okay, so yeah, Seattle, you gotta do a better job of getting your playmakers the ball. Like Josh, again, 2 targets for Josh Gordon, 1 catch. That's no, like that's just not gonna cut it. And St. Louis, you have to do a better job of coming out the gate stronger. Second week in a row, you've gotten down double digits. You've managed to come back and win both games, but one of these weeks that's not going to happen. One of these weeks, one of these teams are going to get you down big, and they're going to keep you down. All right, so AJ McCarron is looking like the MVP right now because he's 2 back-to-back game-winning drives in the XFL.
And shout out to him, because he apparently the word on the street, he turned down a much more lucrative contract to play in the National Football League. He wanted his kids to see him actually play in the NFL in a football game. He looked pretty choked up during the interview after the game. I think that's real. I think AJ McCarron could be in the NFL if he wanted to be.
Then no. And no,
as a backup, I don't mean he's going to be starting.
Yeah, of course, as a backup, like bro, I ain't believing that one. Like he turned down more money. He turned down NFL money to come here. No, come on, man.
I'm buying it. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, get drunk then, because yeah. But yeah, it's. I mean, the defense. Seattle's defense was fine. It was great. They had 4 first-half sacks against St. Louis. They was getting to AJ McCarron, and all of a sudden it's like the tide turned. It's like St. Louis's defense flipped that switch, and they made Ben DiNucci's life a living hell. And
3 sacks for 18 yards in this game.
And down. Don't get me wrong. Like Ben DiNucci turning the ball over, I think he had another red zone fumble. I think he went for another QB sneak and he fumbled the ball because the hot mic caught their coach saying, "Oh, please don't tell me he fumbled this again." And sure, yeah, he did. I don't know if it was Ben DiNucci, but somebody, like, there was a fumble. Like, they were driving the ball, they went for it on 4th, and like a fumble ended that. And I think that's what kick-started.
Seattle fumbled the ball. Seattle fumbled the ball 3 times in this game and lost all 3.
Yeah, you can't fumble the ball 3 times. Like that's just breathing hot air balloon life back into a Seattle team, a St. Louis team, because I'm pretty sure if you get them down, if you score another touchdown, that's demoralizing.
Yeah,
that's absolutely.
I don't think Ben DiNucci leading passer actually in the XFL right now, 478 yards through 2 weeks.
Through 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on to the Saturday game from Thursday to Saturday, DC Defenders go into Vegas and come out with the victory, 18-6. I know we talked about it a ton in the group chat, but like, the Vegas needs to play somewhere else. I know that, like, it's probably a last minute decision to play in that stadium, but there's got to be somewhere else they can play. It just doesn't feel like an NFL stadium. It just doesn't, like a professional stadium.
Oh, and one more tad bit about the first game. Seattle has allowed 9 sacks in the first 2 games. Not good. But yeah, I saw that, like, you were the main one that was like, "Oh, what is this stadium?" I'm like, "Well, what is this stadium?" I'm like, because I wasn't watching at first because I was out with a couple of friends, and I flipped it on. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a rather small stadium."
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It looks like a high school stadium. It just does. Like the way it's set up, the way they have like the stand. Like they gotta find a way to pretty that up a little bit if they're going to continue to play there. And the microphone issues during this game with all of the wind, like they got to find a way to clean that up too.
Well, like, the weather, hold on, like in their defense, like the weather in Vegas this past weekend was not ideal.
Yes, I understand, but like even when the NFL has inclement weather, we don't necessarily hear that through the airwaves. I think they got to clean that up.
So you're wait. So you're comparing a organization who's basically brand new to an organization who's been around for the better part of a century.
Cleaning up your audio is not difficult. You should be able to fix that. Back to the actual on the field.
Work for the XFL and do it then, David. If it's that easy.
Going into the actual game action, Jordan Tiamo, 11 of 23, no touchdowns, no picks. The Vegas Vipers played 3 quarterbacks in this game. None of them were particularly effective. I guess the best of the 3 was Brett Hundley, 11 of 18 for 98 yards. Man, the way they have this website set up, they have the attempts and then the completions. So I have to reverse think about it. Leading rusher Abraham Smith for the DC Defenders. Rod Smith, leading rusher for the Vegas Vipers with 38 yards, 71 for Abraham Smith. Josh Hammond, Jeff Badgett, leading receiver for the 2 teams. Thoughts?
This was just not a good game.
It was for sure not a good game.
I mean, obviously, poor quarterback play is gonna make any defense look like world beaters. Like Jordan Tiamo gets stripped. Vic Beasley picks it. Former Atlanta Falcon Vic Beasley picks it up, returns it. He got caught. He got caught right before the half. They would set up a field goal right before the halftime, but it curled right. Like the wind took it, swung it to the right. Said, "Nope, you're not making anything today." It was a tough watch the first half. Right, DC had 125 yards. Vegas had 82. There were 10 first downs combined. 10 first down. We've seen teams where they get 10 first downs on a drive, let alone
DC Defenders fumbled the ball 3 times, lost all 3. Vegas had a fumble.
It was tough, but obviously the defender defense was what won them this game. It was. I don't know what Vegas. I don't know if Vegas, and we'll get to them in the next game. I don't know if Vegas and Orlando really have a plan in play, because the old sentiment, like if you have 2 quarterbacks on your team, you have none. And these dudes,
I'm not even sure they have one right now.
And these dudes are playing 3 quarter. Like the Vegas, they played 3 quarterbacks, and none of them look particularly good. Like Jordan Tiamu starts, but I think in the back of his head, he has to know at some point, I'm going to get pulled.
Well, Luis Perez actually starts for Vegas. Jordan Tiamu plays for the Defenders.
Oh, my bad. Well, Luis Perez starts. So it's like, I think in the back of his head, he's like, I'm going to get pulled at some point. And
I mean, when you go 1 for 5 and don't have a single passing yard, that's probably what's going to happen.
And then the second guy comes in and he's like, all right, I'm already thrown into a quote unquote bad situation. So if I don't play well, I'm going to get pulled. And sure enough, that's what happened. And then insert Brett Hundley, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a mess. Like I think this is what's going to happen to them if they don't figure out this quarterback situation. I mean, like Luis Perez, he was fine week 1, and we talked about that. He was fine, right?
He imploded a little bit down the stretch in that game, but he played well for the first half.
So obviously, like this was a quote unquote defensive battle, because I'm not going to sit here and act like the DC offense was great either, but it was a matter of which defense is gonna bend and break first. Vegas defense, it broke. You lost the game 18-6.
Yeah, this game was tough to watch. Moving on from Saturday, let's talk about Sunday. We got the San Antonio Brahmas going into the Orlando Guardians and coming out with the victory 30-12. It's Jack Cohen from Notre Dame fame, 16-24, 165 yards and 3 touchdowns. Orlando Guardians had Paxton Lynch and DeAndre Francois play quarterback for them. They both threw a touchdown. Francois threw a really bad pick that was basically a pick 6. Actually, I don't think the San Antonio scored on that drive. Actually, I think because the defense stiffened up. On the San Antonio side, Kalen Ballage had a 23 yards rushing on 12 attempts, and no rushing touchdowns for the Guardians. Man, this website is just not doing it for me right now. I really need ESPN to step their game up. Alize Mack, leading receiver for the San Antonio Brahmas. Cody Ladder, actually Javonte Payton, leading receiver for the Orlando Guardians. But this game was also tough to watch.
Well, one-sided. it was only tough for one side.
Yeah.
I think the Guardians should just go ahead and make DeAndre Francois the starter. The whole two quarterback system thing is just not. It's just not working. DeAndre Francois, while he's probably not the passer that Paxton Lynch is, because he did have a nice touchdown. I mean, obviously the dude was wide open in the back of the end zone, but Paxton Lynch still had to get the ball to him because that offensive line they got in Orlando is just it's not a good one right now. And yeah,
they only gave up 2 sacks, but it should have been a lot more. I mean,
but DeAndre Francois' ability
it also doesn't help when you have 13 penalties for 100 yards.
Yeah, DeAndre Francois' ability to scramble brings another element to the Guardian offense, which I think they should exploit.
I mean, Paxton Lynch actually has some ability to run with the football a little bit. I mean, that's kind of his appeal when he was coming out of college.
The appeal that he had coming out of college was he was 6'7" and had a monster arm,
and he was a little bit mobile.
And he was 6'7". He was 6'7" with a strong arm. No one cared that he could run. He was 6'7" with a strong arm, and that's why he got drafted to Denver, where the ball can fly forever.
Yeah,
when you launch it. But that's what it is. I think the San Antonio. First off, shout out to Hines Ward, first win as a coach. Woohoo! You've given up, I think, 30 points in 2 games. So your defense is probably one of the best in the XFL so far. And you probably have one of the best rushing attacks in this league so far.
Kalen Ballage is really good. He's a good running back.
So it's first off, like, look, the green and the jerseys that they was wearing, that was like, I'm like, hold on. Thank God something wore like a bright yellow. It was like gray and yellow. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. I can tell you apart. But man, yeah,
I actually think all of the jerseys they've done a pretty good job with the jerseys for sure. Not all around XFL.
I don't know if it's too.
We'll talk about the Roughnecks in a second, but I love that helmet scheme with the jersey. It's nice.
Yeah, I don't know if it's too early to say this, but I think Orlando might be the worst team in the XFL right now.
I agree with you, dude. They haven't looked remotely good, and their quarterback play is kind of they put up 12 points in both games, and their quarterback play is really lackluster. But they have played 2 good teams.
But it wasn't even. It was 27 to. It was really 27-6 for the better part of the game, and then they got the garbage time touchdown to make it 27-12 to make it quote unquote respectable. But it's like. It was, like their first drive was perfect. First drive, it was like, okay, now like we got something going, and then it's like you don't score again until what?
I mean,
the fourth quarter.
So they scored at a 9:41 point, 8-yard pass from Eli Rogers from Paxton Lynch. Yeah, they don't score again until there's fourth quarter. Cody Lattimore caught that touchdown pass from DeAndre Francois.
Like, dude, come on. Come on, and this I think they were the first 2 I've seen try the 1-point conversion because it was 6-6. They both tried to go in. They both tried the 1-point conversion.
Well, no, San Antonio actually went for 2 and missed it.
Oh, they went for 2. Okay, so that's the new thing now. Like everybody, most teams go for 2. I've rarely seen the 1-point conversion in the first 2 weeks.
Actually, San Antonio went for the 1-point conversion every other touchdown after that. That's probably been the most because everybody else is going for 2, and then on the rare it makes a lot more sense to go for 2.
And then on the rare
5-yard line,
3.
Yeah,
like you only see teams really going for 3 unless they unless they really need it.
Yeah.
But I think the Guardians they still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I mean they don't really have a ton of. I mean Eli Rogers is a legit player, but like their offense just is skittish, and they need to work on. Maybe they need to work on running the ball a little bit more effectively. I know their offensive line isn't good, but I think they got to commit to running the football.
Well, and discipline. Cut down on how many penalties did you say they had? 13? 10? Cut down on that. You're fine.
13. Sorry, 13 for 100 yards.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And then to the nightcap on Sunday, we got the Houston Roughnecks hosting the Arlington Renegades, and they come with a victory 23-14. Brandon Silvers, 14 of 28, 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cole McDonald, their kind of gadget type quarterback, leading rusher, 7 for 39. Max Borghi actually had the rushing touchdown for this team. And Cedric Bird, and is that Demir Bird's brother?
Dude, everybody, just because they have the same last name, don't mean they're related.
It's a pretty unusual last name.
That don't mean they're
anyways, and then Nick Holley also had a receiving touchdown for the Roughnecks. On the Arlington side of this, Drew Plitt was solid here, 15 of 29, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Devon Smith, 7 for 119. And who caught their touchdowns? Nate Becker and Luan Willingham caught the receiving touchdowns. They benefit a lot by the fact that Houston fumbled it on 2 kick returns. They also fumbled a running play that would put them in field goal range. This game was honestly was not as close as the final score. It felt like Houston was dominating this game from beginning to end, and they just had made a couple mistakes here and there. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the hot mic stuff. I just don't understand how they can allow that. I know people are like, oh, it just looked bad. It was just, and I might be the minority here.
You are. You're sounding real. Get off my lawn.
I'm not. I don't need to hear people swearing on national television. I just don't need to.
You hear it all the time.
I never F-bombs.
You rarely hear.
Do I hear F-bombs when I'm watching football?
Probably.
No, dude. I think they got. I think they did. After the first one, I'm surprised they went back to his hot mic, and he was just dropping F-bombs over and over and over again. It was 5 in a row with under 3 minutes. So I just don't like it. I don't like it.
So you've never heard of Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or somebody else like that drop an F-bomb during the middle of a play? Because I have.
Not as blatantly as that was.
Yes, they have. Come on. Real get off my lawn of you. Real get off my lawn.
I just
old man waving at the cloud. That's what you are right now. Come on, dude.
All right, fine. But as for the actual gameplay, I felt like this was a game that Roughnecks dominated. They basically 2-1 on total yards. This is a game they dominated. Should have won by even more points if they hadn't had costly turnovers. I'm
not going to go that far. It was they got off to a high start. It was 11-0. Then it was 14-11. Then it was 17-14, and then the final score was 23-14. So the game was actually competitive, just on the score.
Yeah. But on the actual field, it felt like the Roughnecks were the better team.
What good is getting the yards if you what good is doubling up on yards?
I know. I mean, a couple bad breaks here and there. You get them down the red zone. The running back puts it on the ground. You get 2 really good returns during this game, and you put them you fumble them during the return. It just felt like the Roughnecks were the better team, and they won. So they're the best team in the XFL for sure.
They're deep. They got 5 sacks.
Yeah, they cost them 38 yards in this game.
5 sacks this week, 7 the week before. So they got 12 sacks in 2 weeks. So yeah, they are defensively. They are probably the best defense, and then you probably gonna add San Antonio behind them. But yeah, as far as gameplay, it was decent. It was decent. Again, it was 23-14. That's striking distance. If I'm Arlington, I get a couple things go my way. Yeah, I get that touchdown. I'm definitely going for the 3 to tie the game. It is what it is, but it don't work that way. It didn't work that way. Obviously, I think a lot of people thought this game would be more high scoring. I think the over under was 39.5 or something like that. For combined points, and
they didn't. The 39 points was the over under there.
So yeah, and the announcers were like, "Yeah, I'm surprised this was a 23-14 That's what it was. Like, no.
Well, I mean, if the Roughnecks don't fumble it on a really good kick return, and if they don't fumble it when they're inside the 20, they put up even more points. Like this game was not as close as the final score. It just wasn't.
To you, but go ahead.
Oh,
You're
okay.
you're also upset that there was cursing on. Oh my God, they're swearing. That's literally what you sound like.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the L on that one.
Like, oh my! How dare they express themselves? Really? That's what you're going like? Come on.
Did you watch what I was talking about? Did you even watch it?
Yes, I didn't have. I'm not the one having a fit about it. That's you.
I mean, the FCC's got to have a problem. I can't I don't. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I just this game was not as close to the final score. That's just my honest opinion. Like it felt like Houston was too soon. Yes, the game was really close at times, but I felt like Houston was a better team. Also, yeah, ESPN, please step up your game when it comes to these box scores. Like, have some stats. Like, you don't even have like any stats on your website, and you're sponsoring this league. Like for real, like if you go to like their website, like on the ESPN XFL page, you can't even pull up stats. Like, you can't pull up anything.
You can't click on anything. You can't pull up on anything. Like, that's pretty bad.
It's trash, dude. Like, can you even pull up? You can't pull up their rosters even. Like they can't stay like that. They want to sustain this.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Like, step up your game, ESPN. Let's talk about game balls. Moving on from week number 2, let's talk about week number 3. Game ball. I'll go first. My game ball is going to go to AJ McCarron, leading the game-winning drive. Get to celebrate with your kids and your wife. Good stuff.
Again, drinking the Kool-Aid. Go ahead, have fun. My game ball is going to Hines Ward. First win as a coach, and it was a solid win. It was a more than solid win. That was a clinic that you put on. You should probably be, and yeah, they took their frustrations out the week before on poor Orlando because they should have won that game.
Yeah,
they should have won. They should have won week 1. So Hines Ward gets my game ball. Shout out to the San Antonio Brahmas.
Oh yeah. To week number 3, so no Thursday night game this week. We can start on Saturday night, and we got the Sea Dragons going into Las Vegas and playing the Vipers. Sea Dragons have kind of let 2 games in a row slip away from them. Mm-hmm. Will that happen this week against the Vipers? Both these teams are 0-2.
0-2. Somebody's O. What's the phrase? Somebody's O has got to go.
Yeah.
I'm going Seattle. Until Vegas gets this quarterback situation figured out, Seattle should win. And we have what we call get right games in the NFL. Those are just like when the really good teams play the really bad teams, and it's like, yeah, everything's supposed to work how it's supposed to work. I'm not saying I think Seattle is a good team. They just they just walk off on the.
I mean, their point differential is, what is this? 8 points. They've lost both their games by 6 points.
6 points.
So they've lost 2 games and by a total of 6 points.
Yeah. Seattle should win this one. Josh Gordon should have a decent game. He should have a bigger game this week.
Also agreeing with you. I'm taking Seattle. I don't believe in Las Vegas right now until they get the quarterback situation.
Yeah, until they get the quarterback shit figured out. It's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be rough. From Saturday into Sunday, so I guess next week is the first home game for the Battlehawks, but this is the battle between the 2 undefeated. We got the Battlehawks going into Washington D.C. and taking on the Defenders. How do you see this game shaking out, TJ?
This might be the best defense that the Battlehawks have seen so far. No, well, outside of San Antonio, but I think it's the same thing. If Seattle, they can't keep relying on, all right, we're going to get down big and then we're just going to, we're going to turn it up. I think, quiet as kept, I think DC has one of the better home field advantages. They are.
Wait until we talk about the Battlehawks next week. I don't know if you read the report, right? So they sold so many tickets to their game that they're going to open up the top part of the dome. Because they sold so many tickets, and you can buy it. So they're opening up more. So there might be 40,000 people in that stadium next week when the Battlehawks take the field.
I will
in St. Louis.
I will believe it when I see it.
Me too. I'm a little skeptical, but like they opened up the second part of the stadium. I think the St. Louis is going to show up big time for this team when they finally, especially if they're undefeated when they get there. Look for that stadium to be packed. I mean, tickets are only $50 a pop. I mean, that's not
a lot. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
But again, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not saying St. Louis is a bad football market, but it's like anything else. When the team's good, they show up. When the team's bad, they don't show up. Plain and simple. But I think they take an L this week. I just think next week when they go home, I just think people are going to be so excited that football's back in St. Louis. They're not going to care whether they won or lost this game coming up. I could be wrong, but what are you going to do? Oh, they lost. Here, I want my money back. No, they're not going to do that. Like, just
I want the Battlehawks to stay defended. I want undefeated. I want to see what happens in this stadium in St. Louis. So how many people they can put in that stadium. I don't want the hype to die out. I'm going to roll with the Battlehawks. I think they're going to win. I actually think they're a better team anyways. Okay. From that game, let's talk about the Guardians and the Renegades. Both these teams really could use a victory. I know that the Renegades do have a victory as they beat the Vipers in Week 1. The Guardians at 0-2 and a mess at the quarterback position. Who wins this game? I'm taking the Renegades. The Guardians are the worst team.
Renegades. Sure. Yeah. This is not close. This should get right game. This is a get right.
Like the offense has really struggled for the Guardians and
Orlando.
Arlington. You know they've been competitive in spurts. Shout out to Ball State
and Orlando. I want to be wrong. When we do this pod next week after, I want to come on here and say Orlando proved me wrong. They went in, they showed up.
Yep.
We're
a positive podcast here. We'd like to see people do well. Yeah.
We want people to be great.
Yeah.
We want people to be great. But I'm going Arlington because
I'm taking the Renegades too. I don't trust that Guardian quarterback situation at all. To Sunday Night Football, Brahmas going into their in-state rivals, taking on the Roughnecks. By the way, I really do hope that not all all of the Texas teams are not all just like living in the same facility. Like because you heard about what happened. Renegades and the Roughnecks are practicing in the same facility, living in the same facility, same hotel, everything. So like they eat dinner with them every day.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. Brahmas, coming up to getting Heinz Ward's first victory. Roughnecks are undefeated. I personally think the Roughnecks are the best team in the XFL. I'm going to roll with the Roughnecks. I think they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I think this is probably the number 1 and number 2 defenses in the XFL. So this would not surprise me at all if this is a
low
scoring game at all.
Yeah.
This wouldn't surprise me at all. And it's a good thing it's the quote unquote marquee game. This is Sunday night. All right, yeah, this is probably going to be on either FX or it's on
ESPN too.
It's on ESPN too. So I'm trying to get that TV schedule down as to like when.
So the Saturday game is on FX.
Okay.
The first 1 o'clock kickoff is on FX. The 4 o'clock kickoff is on FX, and then the 8 o'clock kickoff is on ESPN 2. Because the NBA is on ESPN 1.
Right. So the game on Saturday is on FX, and then the other 2 games on Sunday are on FX too?
Correct.
All right. And then we got the one ESPN too. All right, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, for real, ESPN, step up whatever you're doing with this website because it's legitimate trash. I don't want to be a hater, but like it's not good at all. You can't like pull up rosters, you can't pull up stats. Like how do you want this to succeed? And you're sponsoring it by putting it on your network, but you don't really want I don't get it. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. So
I don't know what to tell you, man.
I'm disappointed, and I don't like being disappointed, TJ.
No, but you like, get mad at people swearing on the field.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, I was livid yesterday. I'm telling you.
Like that's what you're mad about, and then you like really? That's what.
I couldn't, because I work in television. Like I just hear people swear on TV like during prime time, and like when you're not in safe harbor, it irks me like my soul, dude. Like there's a fine, there's another fine, there's another fine. Like the FCC is not gonna be happy with like F-bombs being dropped like I'm during like at 8 o'clock at night.
Okay, and again,
I mean, if you're a league that's trying to make it, the last thing you want is the FCC on your ass.
well, until I haven't read anything about FCC complaints about XFL hot mic. No, I haven't seen anything like that.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, this has been our XFL recap and preview show. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We're going to be covering every single week of the XFL. Because yeah, it's actually pretty damn entertaining football. We're going to be doing more of our
8 more to go.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some more off-season preview stuff as we are getting close to the start of free agency here. That's on March 14th. So keep an eye out for all that content, and the crossover obviously will be on Wednesday. We got some stuff to talk about when it comes to the National Basketball Association. I'll be David Huffman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And TJ,
NFL
what we do here?
We bring the heat, but the NFL Combine, March 2nd through the 5th.
Yeah.
Bears trade talks for that number 1 pick starting to heat up.
Yeah, so we got three divisions that we got to get through. So
Carson Wentz got cut.
He did.
Wait, who's next? Who's next?
The end of AFC North.
AFC North. Okay. Did we do the NFC East yet?
Nope. They're Thursday night.
Okay.
So we'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all have a good night. Take care. Peace out, brother.